Giving an address at the UN's Conference on Disarmament, Polish Foreign Minister Zbigniew Rau says Russia's invasion of Ukraine had put international peace and security at risk.
On Wednesday event, Rau also condemned Russian and Belarusian aggression in the strongest possible terms.
At critical juncture of the 21st century history, we are facing totally unjustified aggression of Russia, a permanent member of the United Nations Security Council, a nuclear weapon possessor state, against Ukraine. It is the gravest security situation since World War II. We condemn Russia's and Belarus' aggression in the strongest possible terms. Poland will continue to contribute to works of all disarmament and non-proliferation fora. However, we cannot move on like nothing happened in Ukraine. This war was orchestrated by the Russian president and its Belarusian counterpart, puts all endeavors of international community related to peace and security under a question mark.
Ukraine's neighboring country, Poland, has been assisting more than 450,000 Ukrainians fleeing their country from Russia's invasion.
Iqbal Himawan talked to Piotr Firlus, charged affairs of Polish embassy in Jakarta, on what's at stake and how the country will do their part on the ongoing humanitarian crisis in Ukraine.
The invasion of Ukraine has forced thousands of people fled Ukraine to neighboring countries, mostly to Poland. Ukraine neighbors also try to assist Ukrainians with various efforts. And joining us now, chargé d'affaires of the Embassy of Poland in Jakarta, Excellency Piotr Firlus, to talk about it further. Mr. Piotr, good afternoon. How are you?
Thank you very much, Mr. Iqbal. Thank you for inviting me to your program.
As we know, Poland is one of Ukraine's neighboring countries, but we see that on the latest news and the latest developments, people Ukrainians are fleeing the country. They using trains, they're hopping the train to go to Poland to seek shelter. Can you elaborate to us about Poland's efforts in having refugees from Ukraine? Were there any emergency policy that has been imposed?
Since the beginning of Russian invasion of Ukraine till yesterday, approximately 370,000 people have crossed the Polish border from Ukraine. In some days, there were more than 100 people cleared by the Polish border guard. It means 60, 70 people per minute. Every minute, as we talk today, this number of people has been forced to flee their homes and to seek protection in Poland. As for now, there are almost no formal obstacles for entering Poland from Ukraine. All people, after crossing the border, can easily find special points of reception for refugees. The points provide food, warm shelter, and all information about possible accommodation and other necessary support. To show the dynamic of the situation, within hours after Russian aggression of Ukraine, Poland opened 8 such points. Today, we already have 27 special points of reception for refugees. So it shows how the situation is deteriorating on the ground. To facilitate the distribution of this support, a few days ago, the Polish government created a large hub for humanitarian aid that was opened in Lublin, in eastern Poland. Other instruments we implemented, for example, Polish government initiated a special train with 2 functions. 5 wagons of these trains are for medical transportation, and 4 wagons are for humanitarian aid.
Talk about the root of the problems. Some analysis says that it all started from the Russia do not want Ukraine to be a member of the NATO. But based on the data that Poland is one of NATO members that is keen to proposing for accepting Ukraine as a member of NATO. Could you explain the consideration behind the effort?
President Putin wants to rebuild the Russian Empire at whatever cost, as we can see, whatever cost. So this is the concern for all of us. What is our message to everybody? Within that context, the international community must be anonymous and send a clear message to Russia. We do not agree for violating territorial integrity of Ukraine. We do not agree from breaking international law. To impose its influence on neighbors, as we can see for years, Russia has the only one answer: is hostilities, is annexing territories, and is conflicting, and now the open military aggression. Poland has been warning against such a scenario for years. One example, in 2008, 14 years ago, the then Polish President Lech Kaczynski warned against the hostile Russian policy toward neighbors being in Georgia. What we must assume now is that the President Putin will continue his aggressive policy. The policy started in Georgia, as I mentioned, 2008, then in Ukraine, 2014, and now we can observe the deteriorating of situation much more. What is another target for President Putin and Russia army? We don't know. It can be Baltic states, Poland, other countries on NATO eastern flank.